control. Politicians and celebrities make deals behind closed doors, promises broken, and their income soars. Hidden agendas run the grand parade. In the circus, choose a masquerade. Believe me, I wouldn't lie. I've been given money, power, and fame to keep you in line.
Welcome, everyone. Today I have Nick here, and we are going to just hang out and chat. So, you want to introduce yourself or just tell your story?
I was doing laundry today, and I wanted to put the clothes into the dryer. I had to go to the laundromat, right? I do laundry in a laundromat because I live in a tiny apartment. It's 10 square meters. Don't ask me what that is in feet anymore. I couldn't tell you anymore. Anyway, so I couldn't get to the dryers because there's a guy lying down on the floor preparing his hit of heroin. And I could smell something burning, and I looked over. Oh, okay. So I guess we'll have to go to the other side of the laundromat, and you'd never guess what neighborhood it is. You'd think, oh, it must be a rough neighborhood, must be a rough part of Paris, but it's actually a place where all the tourists go. It's like one of the tourist traps of Paris. It's like extreme Disneyfication. But if you just happen to go into that laundromat, it's a very different story. It's a very different place.
So, I haven't gone over there for I want to say 15 years. Do you think it's changed?
Not just Paris. I think a lot of places have changed.
I mean, what would you attribute to the changes? Like some policies, immigration?
I don't know.
Economy, 2020?
I don't know. You tell me. What do you think?
I don't live there. I can't tell you.
No, but we're talking now in general about everywhere because we could tell things have changed everywhere.
That's not happening here.
Not in Miami, but in the States. Yeah. You'll find plenty of places where it's worse. You've got fentanyl, you've got zombies.
Yeah, there's a certain type of place where that happens and a certain type of place where that doesn't happen.
Okay, well,
And you know the difference.
If you want to speculate about it, we'll say
the
same usual stuff. Like, yeah, the rich keep getting richer and the poor keep getting poorer. The middle class is disappearing. And what?
That's happening, but the drugs and everything, those are more liberal cities.
Whatever, it doesn't matter.
That doesn't happen.
Why is that? Why do you think that happens? I feel like part of it too is
because they have policies to encourage it.
It's the Cold War. It's like Cold War II. So like all this stuff is being smuggled in to bring us to our knees, to bring the West to its knees. It's probably coming from places like
do you believe what China says, saying that like the US is trying to blame China when in fact they're the ones who are orchestrating it, bringing it in and profiting off of it?
It's the opium wars in reverse. The same thing that the West did to China with opium, they've been doing to the West for the past few decades, and it's not just China, but the other side of the globe, of the communists since Cold War I, and I think now we're in Cold War II. This is the Cold War. It's been the Cold War probably since 2014 at least.
Yeah.
And you see it in the media too. You see it in social media. You see that's why it's so polarized. Everything is so polarized, and you have all this stuff like designed to get everyone all riled up and polarized.
So we did this to say China and Russia before?
No, if you go back in history, to the 1800s, like China was kind of being colonized, not officially, but you could say that they were pretty much being colonized in a new, more strategic way. And so European countries mostly would just take control of strategic things, like strategic places. They'd take control of a river or like a port, and then the English had India, right? And so they had all this opium that they were getting from India, and they were looking for someone to sell it to, and they found the Chinese. They were like, they're already a pretty big population back then, and so they started selling the opium to China. China tried to fight it, but they couldn't, and that's what led to the opium wars. But we know who won that, right? Anyway, like you got a big part of the population that was all hooked on opium. So you had a nation full of drug addicts, and it obviously weakened the country, right? Or the empire. It was still an empire, or whatever you want to call it back then, right? The dynasty, whatever the hell it was called, but the Chinese people, right? The China as a power was brought to its knees because like all its citizens were all drug addicts. They were all hooked on opium. So they were like, we'll make a note of that. We'll add that to our playbook. And their long term is a lot longer than the Western long term. The long term for us is like what, maybe half a century. For them, it's maybe longer than that, maybe a century. So like they're like, oh, we'll get back at you. We'll get you. Give us enough time.
Why do you think that let's say the more liberal side of people are more suicidal, I'll say?
Sorry?
Why do you feel like the left leaning people seem more like negative about the future, more like, I guess you can't say the S word online, so like more willing to, end it? You know what I mean? Like they have like that kind of, there's no hope for the future. We shouldn't have kids because the world is crap. Like I'm not in control of my own life. Nothing matters. There's like, it's kind of like an apathy, like a depression.
I'm not sure, but I think one thing that we all agree on is that I don't think I've met anyone recently who's positive about anything, who feels like, yeah, we're definitely heading in the right direction. Everything is like super great now.
I mean, it depends. It depends if you watch the news. I think that's a big thing.
It's just two different reactions to the same feeling. I think both sides are really concerned about the future and scared, right? And everyone agrees that we're in trouble, but one side just feels so overwhelmed, and they feel like there's absolutely nothing we can do, or even if there is, it's like too little, too late. We're in trouble. We're too deep, right? The trouble's too bad. There's nothing we can do. We can't do enough to get out of it. And then the other side is really sort of stubborn and wants to fight and has hope, still has hope that we can bounce back, right? So you have these two different reactions to the same sentiment. Like, yeah, we're in trouble. But when I say we, I don't just mean the States. I mean Europe, every Western, well, not every Western developed nation, but a lot of Western developed nations.
I think you have a very common backdrop.
Yeah. Well,
is what it is. Oh, you wore the same sweater.
Yeah.
You're gonna love that.
Yeah. But I'm doing all the talking. So what do you think?
Okay, yeah. So I think. Oh, sorry, I was on mute.
No, well, not for me anyway.
What a stupid thing. Anyways, because if it was on mute, so you shouldn't have heard me.
Well, maybe we've gotten to that telepathic level, haven't we?
That's not cool. What kind of button is this? Anyways, all right.
Are you Generation X, Kat? Is that what you're telling us? Generation X, or like further back than that? No.
We don't talk about my age.
Okay, well, when you start having problems with basic technology, you are talking about your about your age, right?
Anyway, so moving on. I think the difference between like more conservative and more liberal types is that I feel like the liberal types, they're like overwhelmed and they've kind of shut down. Like, you know what I mean? Like they've shut down their brain, their mind, their body. They've succumbed. You know what I mean? Like they're just kind of like laying on the floor and letting everything hit them. Like there's no God, there's no meaning, there's no tomorrow, there's no
Okay.
points. They've quiet quit life.
Right, but why do you think that is?
Because
Why do you,
that's their trauma response, right?
okay,
Like,
that's one possibility. What about if we look at how much hope they should have? I mean, do they really have reason to have a lot of hope and be optimistic? I mean,
there's
why should they?
definitely things to look forward to. Of course, there's stuff to look forward to.
Well,
There's
you find that some of them are optimistic about the changes that are going to come about because of technology. They're not all doom and gloom. Some of them are positive. They focus on the things that technology is going to fix.
Yeah,
You know, you hear
but
people, mostly rich people, probably though. You know, they're like, yeah, AI is gonna it's gonna destroy a lot of jobs, but who knows what'll happen? There's a lot of good stuff on the horizon too. Probably, we hope.
well, the thing is, even if you're incredibly wealthy, AI can still be a problem for you because a lot of people are like incredibly wealthy, but they know like it's not going to last generationally if there's not some sort of like economy, if there's not something going on. So there is that fear, like what's going to replace it? Like what sector should I tell my children to go into? Like how is that going to work? Are they going to be like socially awkward? Are they going
Hmm.
to be like dating robots and then like end the bloodline? Like there's still issues no matter like how much money you have, unless you are the ones printing the money. Therefore, you're above that, but that's just a small portion of the world. But I feel like if you're an actor, that's gone. If you're like a musician, that's gone. If you're an artist, that's gone. If you're what's it called, influencer, that's gone. If you're like what's left? If you're a doctor, a lawyer, that's all gone.
I don't think so. I don't think so. You know, look at what happened in the 80s, right? When all this electronic music started coming out. A lot of people will probably have guessed, oh, now musicians are going to all go out of business and we're not going to have any real people playing real instruments anymore. But people got sick of all that sterile, sort of cold electronic sound, and we gravitated towards real instruments again.
It
And how
doesn't
many
have that though.
bands- Sorry?
It doesn't have the cold sound. It has feeling in it.
Maybe some electronic music, but all I'm saying is a lot of people assumed that, oh, now we've got electronic drums, so we don't need drummers anymore. And that's not really the way it works. I don't think this stuff is as predictable as people are trying to make out. It's not like, oh, now we've got this new technological advancement. Now we're not going to need the old stuff at all, but we're attached to certain old things. You know, like books. Another example is the e-book, right? The e-reader. People thought, now we've got the e-reader, you've got an entire bookcase with you in your pocket or whatever in your bag, and no one's gonna who's gonna want real books anymore. Well, look around you, people are still reading real books. And how long have we had these things? At least 20 years now, right? Almost 20 years we've had e-books. They didn't replace books. So don't I think people are very tempted to oversimplify what current events will like to when they sort of extrapolate, when they make predictions. They have a tendency to kind of oversimplify stuff. And if you look at Back to the Future, think about how far off they were about everything.
Yeah.
And
I
any
mean,
any movie that deals with like the future, most of them are totally far off, right?
okay, so what were they? Okay, the skateboard, hoverboard. Okay, other than that, like what were they? So the flying cars and the hoverboards out of the picture. What else were they wrong about? I feel like they got you know, they got the Zoom meeting, they got the
Yeah, but there's nothing about social media. They have no idea about
yeah.
social media.
Well, they wouldn't have known that.
Exactly. And I feel that that's the way it always is. There's always this thing, at least there are a few things, a few major things that change everything. And there's no way for anyone to even imagine it. You know, it's like so way out of left field. You don't see it coming. And it has a huge positive impact sometimes, right? Very often, or negative, right? So why bother, you know, like making all these predictions or making extreme predictions? Because yeah, you can. Yeah, but I think we just need to sort of not oversimplify and not exaggerate when we're trying to envision what the future might look like. You know, I think it's not going to be much better or much worse. It's going to be a little better in some ways and a little worse, probably.
But you know how like when there's books or movies, whatever, envisioning the future, a lot of the people who go on to create things, they draw from that, which is why it looks like it's predicting the future. So it's important to envision the future because that's what the people are going to draw from to inspire them.
Or that's going to be what people fear and try to avoid, right? Because sometimes we hope, like 1984, that warned people about you know what dystopias we could end up with if we're not vigilant, right? So it works both ways. You have these futuristic dystopias that warn people, and then you also have, it's true that you have some futuristic movies that give people ideas like, hey, yeah, we should try to work on that, try to make that a reality, try to make that product that would probably sell. You know, let's get our R&D department on it. You know what I mean? It goes both ways. And that's what I'm saying. For all of this stuff, there are two sides to it. You know, it's like a chess match. It's like you've got the good side and the bad side, and that's why it's so unpredictable. And it's always been that way. But people these days, it seems like everyone's all doom and gloom, and everyone's focusing on all the way things are going to end up being horribly terrible, or horribly terrible. Things are going to be horrible, right? And that's it. And they forget that, at least for as long as I've been watching the news or paying attention, it's always been like that. It's always been like, oh, the world's going to end. Can you imagine the 60s, right? Imagine people in the late 60s watching the Watts riots or whatever riots they had at the time. Like, there were riots everywhere in the late 60s. They probably thought, oh man, it's all over now. It's all over. You know, Western civilization it's about to collapse, right?
I mean, yeah, but like a little bit of like the threat of war seemed to stimulate people to have more fun and to like reproduce more. Like, you know, like there was something about that. It wasn't total doom and gloom. It was like, you know, we don't know about the future, but kind of like in a let's live for the moment type of way. But I feel like now it's more because everybody's online and they have like that weird dopamine addiction that it's lowered their baseline so much that it's like the brain was not meant for that much stimulation. So what happens is you get sucked in, like they call it like what do the kids call it, bed rotting or something or brain rotting, right? That's when you like are doing this for hours and hours.
Yeah, doom scrolling.
Doom scrolling. That's what the old people call it, and they call it brain rotting. And, and yeah, so like when you do that, especially if you're younger and you're doing that, you ruin your dopamine centers and it creates massive addiction. And it also makes it hard for you to feel good and hopeful. So you kind of inhibit your ability to be excited for anything, and then you don't have peak experiences.
I think if that's true, which I doubt, if that's true, it's probably like negligible. These effects are negligible, like a caffeine addiction. You know, it's probably
because they did have studies where they took that away from children, and they went from right now, I think it's like a really high amount, like 60% of kids are hopeless and don't find meaning in life and they're depressed. They like write that on surveys. And when we were kids, it was like maybe 15%, and it went down to pre-technology, like when we were kids. Ranges when they took technology completely out of schools for like 6 months.
But what I'm saying is they could very easily reverse that.
What do you mean? How?
Because your brain has its natural. Most people have a normal sort of neurochemical balance, and yeah, you can disrupt that, right? With stimuli and external factors, but I mean, eventually, it's going to want to go back to that kind of equilibrium. You're not going to be able to disrupt it or change it permanently. It's going to want to come back to its normal levels. So yeah, okay, it might be like that temporarily, right? While you're under like a drug, while you're under the effects of it, yeah, it upsets your neurochemical kind of balance in some way, right? But then you stop and you go back to normal. I think you're exaggerating the effects that this stuff has on people's brains. I don't think any permanent damage is being done. That can't be reversed, very easily rectified.
Okay, everyone says I sound like I'm in a hall or something. Do I sound okay to you?
Yeah. As okay as you normally do, which is
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let me like see if I change.
What happened to your huge audience that you had last time?
It depends on when people want to come. Okay.
All right, the echo's gone. Yeah.
All right. I'm using another mic, but this mic is not on a stand and it goes up whenever I let go of it, so I have to hold it.
Where were we? What were we talking about?
Okay, hold on. Make sure everywhere. Okay. So anyways, there's also this there's these rumors circulating, and I think it's true that a lot of the quote unquote elites, especially the Silicon Valley techno people, like tech giant type people, they actually have sort of like an idea that they're creating their god.
I'll be right back.
What do you mean?
I'll be right back. I'm just gonna make some tea. I'm listening. Keep going.
Oh my god.
I'm listening.
Okay, so since you're listening, I'll play the clip.
Yeah.
From the video that I saw, and it's a few minutes, so it should be long enough to get some tea. They're talking about AI, the end of jobs, and all that stuff.
All right.
And this guy seems cool. Let me see. Okay, can you mute yourself, or let me mute you?
And robotics and all these new possibilities, they're just really accelerating right now, right? So I have like one of my favorite companies is like guys for Waymo, right? The self-driving company, a bunch from left, and they're using AI and robotics to basically like take Caterpillar machines, like construction machines with no one in them, and build roads and build buildings. And it's like, this is clearly already starting to work. It's clearly coming. Like there's so much stuff that's it's be very disinflationary, right? It's going to bring down the cost of everything in our society. If we can make this work, it's going to make people in the middle class live way better. It's just this great energy, but we have to power it with energy. And so I think cheap energy is really important. I think deregulatory stuff to like allow us to actually build things, to allow us to make healthcare cheaper. Healthcare could be so cheap, Tom, we can compete. Like all these things that are kind of broken, education, healthcare, housing costs, those should all be much cheaper the next 10 or 20 years if the government allows them to be, if the government allows that competition, attacks the crony capitalists that are running everything right now and that are locking in laws against us. So I think that's some of the most important stuff to thrive. And then yes, deter the bad guys, have a smart, functional government. Like I don't actually want war to be a thing I think about every day. I have lots of other things I do, the reason that, 20% of our fund and a lot of my time goes into defense is that if we don't deter the bad guys, that's like the worst possible outcome for all of us. And then stop the illiberals from breaking things. So, I mean, listen, there's a lot of battles to fight, but I'm very optimistic on this new wave that's coming, that, we're talking about with Mark, where we're both kind of investing in this new wave where it is going to make everything so much better if we can get the government not to break things.
How good is AI going to be really?
And my intuition has been that it's like an asymptote, right? Where it just like gets a little better, but it hasn't yet. It's like kept making these jumps. And so I'm really excited. I'm a little bit scared. My intuition is that it still does like kind of hit a wall at some point, or at least slow down a lot, because I don't think the universe works in exponentials. I think it works in S shapes where it like goes up for a while and comes over. I just don't think the universe is that simple that we've just figured everything out and then we're going to have this crazy super intelligence in like 5 or 10 years. My view is that it keeps getting a little bit better and that it's good enough to like raise productivity a lot, and it's a very good kind of happy medium. But a lot of my smartest friends think we're kind of birthing the Messiah basically, and it's like this religion for them, and that's
really
fascinating and scary.
Do they speak in that language, or you just get the vibe?
Some of them speak in that language. Most of them don't use that term because they're secular, right? But for me, it's messianic in the way they do speak about it. Like that would be the correct adjective to describe how they're speaking about what's coming in the next 10 years. And a few of them use it, most of them don't. But again, this is not my view. I think it's just this majorly important productivity wave, but that doesn't actually completely create a god sometimes smarter than us. But there are some people who think that we're going to get something like that. And if we do, then we're living at the end of times. But that's it's what it is. I don't think that's the case.
Wow, crazy. I want to talk about courage. So you've started a university. It seems.
All right. Did you hear what he said?
Yeah, kind of. Most of it, yeah.
So there is like this messianic whatever agenda that they're trying to create their AI god or whatever. That's going to be like, you remember like Demolition Man? It's going to predict who's going to commit a crime and stop it from happening, send the cops over there, like you'll be guilty before. Like this is what they actually want to create. Like this is their dream because they think it's like not corruptible. It's blah, 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 whatever.
Okay. No? Yeah, okay. We're going back to this theme that we saw in so many movies in the 80s. Terminator and what was the other one? Blade Runner. Right?
I never saw that one, but yeah.
But there's this fear again, and if you go back far enough, you see that was also a thing. For as long as we've had robots, we've had people scared of them taking over, I think. And the robots have kept getting more sophisticated, and I think the fear has also kept getting more sophisticated. But I'm not really scared that they're going to take over.
I just realized, can I adjust this boom arm and I don't need to buy a new one? I think I need to like adjust it or something so it doesn't fly up. Oh my gosh. That would be so cool. Anyways, but yeah, I definitely think that
Hello?
What? Can you hear me?
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, I don't know how to adjust the mic boom, whatever crap, but I'm gonna figure it out after. Anyways, that'll save me some money. I'm not eating. I am drinking. This is raw milk, raw cream, iced latte. Yes. With this from Paul Saladino's recommended, or I think it's his company, honey, and that stuff tastes like how honey used to taste like when I was a kid. Like when you would go, it tastes, yeah, like it's real. It tastes real, and it's such a weird thing because when I first tasted, I bought from Whole Foods, right? Like raw organic honey, blah, 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 wildflower honey, all this crap, right? I bought all that stuff and I taste it and it still tastes like the fake stuff that has
Sugar.
the fructose.
It's just sugar.
So I'm just like, it's not real. And then when I tasted this one that this dude recommended, I think it's his company, it actually reminds me of like when I first had honey at the farmer's market, like when I was a little kid. And I'm like, oh crap, what is this other stuff? I have like 30 bottles of different types of artisanal honeys that are like $30 each. I get them from all over and they don't taste anything like this. They taste fake.
There's a thing on Netflix a few years ago, and where they broke down the scam. They broke down how honey was a big scam. Like a lot of the honey you get isn't actually honey; it's sugar for the most part that they mix with real honey, and they just through a loophole they find a way to sell it to you as if it were honey, and it's all just manipulating what you can get away with. Like the rules, they just sort of twist the rules. They bend the rules so that they can sell you something as honey, even though it's not honey.
Yeah, I know they've done that with olive oil. So it's like it's nearly impossible to get real olive oil, and then avocado oil. It's nearly impossible to get avocado oil, and then what else? I mean, freaking everything. I know, like, there's this big thing with pasta, like how the pasta is made now. It has some super talk. Oh, it's made with Teflon. Can you like wrap your head around putting Teflon on pasta? First of all, you can't soak up the sauce. And second of all, you don't freaking need to do it. Like, what are they doing? This is very deliberate. It's very disgusting. It's 1,000% on purpose. I don't care what anybody says. They want us sick. They want to destroy the population. The agenda was always 90% of the United States, most of the rest of the world, they want them gone by 2030. Gone. Like for the whole way. So all of this crap, it's definitely that. They don't want us healthy. They could easily snap their fingers and say, look, if it's not food, you can't put it in food. But no, they won't do that. They refuse.
They do that in some countries.
And it's becoming like more and more in the UK now. They're doing a lot of this crap. It's spreading. It's spreading everywhere.
I think this has always been the case. Like it's just a struggle between, it's a tug of war between how capitalist your country is and how much it's looking after the best interest of its citizens, you know? And I feel like in Europe you get, I think it's just a bit more balanced where they're looking out. I think they're looking after people a little more than they do in the States. I feel like in the States it's more about money and they don't care what happens to you. And in Europe it's like, yeah, they care about money, but not necessarily at the expense of everyone's health and well-being. Huh?
Yeah, but like the UK used to be like that, and then the last 10 years, it's become like America.
Yeah, and France is becoming like America too. It's spreading. It's going everywhere. Why? Because we're in an international like economy. We're all competing internationally. So just to stay afloat, it's kind of like everyone else does it, and sooner or later you have to do it because you reach this threshold where now you have to do it because otherwise it's like if everyone cheats and you're the only one who isn't cheating. If everyone is cheating on their taxes, you're not going to be the only sucker who pays 100% of your taxes, right? You get to the point where you're like, why me? Forget it. I'll break the rules like everyone else.
The
And you have
problem
to
is
just to stay afloat, just to be competitive. If everyone else cheats and they get away with it, you have to start cheating too.
it's not like that. I think you're wrong because this is how it happens here. You'll see a company, everybody's like trying to find an option that's not poison. Everybody. So everybody's online saying, okay, I found this small family owned company. It sells like, let's say a deodorant and it doesn't cause you cancer. Hey guys, everybody check this out. So then everybody starts buying that deodorant. And then the first thing that happens is another company buys that deodorant company. And then it's in the big four that own everything in the United States. and they immediately change all the ingredients and make it toxic. So it goes from a profitable business to barely sustainable to like not profitable. But the people who buy it don't care that they're putting it under.
I think
That's the sick
part of what makes it also profitable is how much awareness there is, right? There are so many people who are scared, right? There's all this fear now that people are poisoning themselves just by eating normal food, right?
There's no normal food. It's not a fear. It's legitimate.
Well, that's debatable in some cases.
It's not debatable. It's not debatable. No. It's not debatable. When you, I'm sorry, it's not gluten. They blame gluten for glyphosate. They added glyphosate to the wheat, and everybody's reacting to the glyphosate, not the gluten. Gluten is celiac. Celiac is a small percentage of the population. Right. If you're celiac, you go to a bakery, you get anaphylactic shock and you die. If you eat gluten and you get bloated or, whatever, you're not celiac. You don't have a gluten intolerance. You're reacting to a poison, as your body should. Your body is doing the correct response to a poison.
Okay.
So yes, we are being poisoned. We are reacting to poison.
But there's always been poison around us. We went to school.
Yeah,
I don't know,
but not this much.
There's asbestos in my school, and I went to school for 5 years with asbestos in the building. And it's just now there's more awareness about everything. Thank you.
Primal Kitchen got bought out. It's fake now. Also, Primal Kitchen, no offense to them, even before it got bought out, it's gross. Like even when it was good, like good for you, it tasted bad. Sorry, it tastes terrible. So I couldn't, like the Primal Kitchen ketchup. I mean, just don't have ketchup. If that's your alternative, just don't have ketchup. It's not worth it. Wow, you guys are terrible. Do you think I'm like really pale?
I don't think so. I think you're fine. You're okay.
I need to go outside. So another study came out that's not obviously a big surprise that the more time you spend indoor, the more all-cause mortality, the higher chance of all types of cancers. Oops, I don't go outside.
Well, that's causation correlation fallacy because, you stay inside, but you're also staying inactive, right?
You can exercise on like machines inside and it didn't have the same effect that going outside.
Most people don't. Most people
go to gyms which are indoors,
sitting in front of their computer or like their television. Like nobody. That's it. It's just sedentary lifestyle.
I was watching a documentary on, I think it was the 40s or the 50s, and what life was like and what people ate, what their activity levels were, what they were doing. And it was basically like, common sense stuff that we kind of forgot about. Like they were saying that, meat was hard to come by, but everybody ate meat every single day, but you'd have one chicken breast for like a family of 4 and they would just split it. And then they would have like what would be a kid-sized plate would be for the entire family at dinner. And they just split it up.
I don't know about that.
You weren't even alive then. Anyways, and then they would say stuff like that being inside.
I think, I don't know though. Like some some problems you have with technology would imply the opposite. But,
okay, anyways. So, and they were saying that like you were not inside unless you were going to sleep or eating dinner. And then the rest of the time you were outside or working. And then you'd come home and, you would sit for maybe an hour watching TV once TV came in like the 60s or whatever.
You die
and
of
then
polio,
that's it.
Or you die of
Can
polio.
you stop? We're not talking about polio and shit.
A mine would collapse on you or something. Like there's so many fucking horrible deaths.
Oh my God. Are you fucking kidding me? Everybody dies in every generation. What are you talking about?
Prove it.
What are you talking about? Everybody who's eaten a carrot has died. Shut up.
Prove that future generations will die. Prove it.
Oh my God. I can't.
Could you imagine? That would be unbearable. That would be the cruelest thing that we could ever unleash upon ourselves. Eternal life.
You're
That would
such a
be.
doomer.
Sorry?
You're a doomer.
No, no, you just get bored. I'm not saying like I'm anyone would get bored. Anyone.
Look, you only get bored if you're broke
I don't
or
care
if
how
you
much
don't have purpose.
I don't care how much you love life. After a couple hundred years, you're like, yeah.
You
I'm
need
kind of,
purpose and money, and then you'll be good forever.
no.
That's all you need, money and purpose.
Now, if we were eternally young, okay. Like if you could be in your 20s or 30s
Well,
forever,
yeah.
that okay, maybe. The
Mhm.
problem is we're keeping people alive longer and longer, but it's extending the bad part because
Yeah, because they make more money in the bad part. So they want you to get to the bad part longer.
who's they? Like healthcare?
Yeah.
Well, not for long, right? That's changing, isn't it? Bringing down healthcare costs, right?
It's not about costs. It's like
Donnie?
they still get you into the system.
Yeah, but it's according to Donnie, it's going to be a lot less profitable, right? There's going to be a lot less money made in that sector. No?
Well, it's not just like it's not that they're okay. This is how it works. The healthcare companies are the same as the hospitals and the what's it called? The insurance companies. They're all the same basic company. So they own all parts. So it's not really it's just the same. It's really, if you even go to the food companies, which are also owned by the same, it's just like there's 4 companies and the boards are on both companies. Like the board members are on all 4 different companies. So it's like literally we have one megacorp that owns everything, and they're just moving money around from this sector to that sector to that sector so they can get profit. Like that's how it works.
Do you think we're slowly heading towards feudalism again? Do you think we're going back?
We're in techno feudalism. Techno feudalism is the people who own the people who own
It's like feudalism with a better beat.
platforms. Yes.
Feudalism with a
Yeah.
4 on the floor.
Mhm.
I dig it, Kat. I can dance to this type of feudalism.
Oh God. But yeah, it's just like the platforms that you can host whatever, use those platforms. The people who own the platforms, those will be like the feudal lords, and they get to dictate what you can and cannot do on their platforms.
Why do you say will be? Why
What
do
do
you
you
say will be as if we weren't already living in these times? Like it's happening.
Well, there's still people who have jobs in the private sector, right?
Look
But
at
with
the
full
amount of
techno
money.
feudalism, there's no private sector anymore.
Look at how much they make, Kat, and put the money piles side by side. It's
Mhm.
relative, you know. Obviously, you're going to make more than a medieval peasant, but compare your wealth to like the 1% or whatever to the CEO of.
There is no comparison. It doesn't exist.
It's like huge, right? Massive difference. So like you are basically a modern day peasant. You're like a peasant.
Yes, but the difference between feudalism and other types of setups is in feudalism, nobody is their own boss. You can't be self-employed. You basically have to live on the feudal lord's property in order to make a living, and they get to dictate what you can and can't do. They're basically like your god, your lord, right?
How is that not the way it is now? Like who really has the means of production now?
Amish. I don't know. There's
Exactly.
a few people.
Just the Amish.
Yes, but in real feudalism, they won't even have anything.
Okay, but I think we can agree we're not that far off.
But we still have we always have right now at least, we have the option to become Amish and hope that they'll let us in. I just see like if the robots come and things go really crazy, and because what they want to do, like the dream, and they actually talked about this very, very happily. Like this was a great freaking idea, and everybody else was horrified, so they stopped talking about it. But their dream was, okay, we're gonna have like, like how they used to have like corporate towns. So it's like everybody in this town works for just this company. Your house is tied to your job. Your healthcare is tied to your job. And you get credits from your job to purchase stuff only at the local job-owned store. And you can only buy what they sell. That they were talking about, like, we're going to do that. So like, depending on what job you get is basically your entire life quality.
Things are kind of already like that, like when you look at
we have options.
Healthcare. Well, yeah, but to some extent, it's kind of been like that for a while. Where like if you want healthcare, you need to get a job. You need to get this kind of job, and certain things you only get if you have a certain job with a certain company, right? Certain benefits, certain things. Yeah. Before I forget, there are 2 points that I wanted to talk about today, if you like.
Sure.
VEO3, right?
Yeah, you saw that?
Yeah, that's pretty huge, I think. And the other thing is the fact that a lot of very wealthy, very wealthy people are building like shelters underground. But what are they called? Like to survive nuclear winter or something like that. Mm-hmm. You heard about that too? Is that real?
But they've always done that.
Okay, well let's start with, if you want. I mean, if you agree, let's talk about VEO3. What do you think?
I think
that's going to change?
I know a lot of people are scared and stuff. I'm excited to blow up Hollywood and their freaking queer, crazy agendas that they're trying to push down everybody's throat. Like if you look at Hollywood movies, everything is negative. Everything is depressing. Everything that they've put out in the last 10 years is like disgusting trash. And I'm excited for finally the people to have the power, because there's so many people who they don't get accepted into Hollywood because they won't bend over at a Diddy party or whatever, or Epstein Island, wherever you got to bend over. Like they don't want to do that stuff, but they have good storytelling abilities, creativity, all that stuff. And because of the whole, like the gatekeeping going on, like you got to be in the club to get in. You got to do what we want to get in. We have to control you to get in. Now there's no gates. Anybody who is creative enough can do whatever they want. That's never happened before. And I believe
be ignored.
Well, yeah, you can be ignored or you cannot be. If you're really good, you won't be ignored.
Really?
You can't. Like, there's definitely people who came up from nothing. And yeah, you won't hear about them on the news, but they have enough money to survive. They're doing great. Just because they're not, in traditional media famous, who cares? You only need enough people to know who you are to like survive and to support what you do, like Patreons.
Okay, now that's one side of that, right? That's the positive side, says you. Now, what about all this footage of you on the internet, right? All these images of you and sounds of you, your whole
it's too late. It's gone.
Your whole internet presence, right? All of that, of course, right? You don't own it. There's no way you could ever get rid of it. Now, if I start feeding prompts with your likeness, using your likeness,
there's nothing anyone can do about
how will people know they're actually talking to cat online, or they're talking to a fake VEO3 cat?
Yeah, that is going to be one of the downsides, but we're just going to evolve past it, where we're just going to be like, if you're really you, I need you to come to this, conference and talk to us in person. And then you're going to see, I know it's hard to envision it, but eventually we're going to get to a world where people don't trust what they see anymore, but it's enough to get them interested. And then they're going to be like, when you come to town, I'll go and check this person out in person and see what I really think about them. And then we're going to have a lot more conferences, a lot more in-person retreats, a lot more concerts, a lot more in-person podcasts. I see that happening.
Maybe, because you're assuming that the other side isn't going to try to fight it. You're assuming that we're not going to try to devise some kind of certificate of authenticity, right? Like this proves.
Oh yeah, they're gonna try to do that with
NFTs are trying to be that for some things.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
there's no way you can. It was like what did NFT stand for? What did the F stand for? Funge, for non-fungible.
Non-fungible tokens, yeah.
Right. So there's no way you can fake this. This is a certificate of authenticity for these.
Yeah, some blockchain often whatever.
And so right. And so people are gonna find a way to hack that and to fake that. And it's just I feel like it's gonna keep on going in circles. It's the same, it's just more sophisticated. Like everything. Like theft, right? Like theft has got both sides of it have had to keep getting more sophisticated because it's this continual, never-ending tug of war.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is, but you just got to keep up with the time.
Exactly, and technology developing exponentially the way it does. That is, it's like, how can you? Are you sure you can keep up? Like as you age too. Because look at our parents, look at our grandparents or whatever. Like they can't. The way technology has evolved in the past couple or few decades, particularly the last 2 decades, how many of them were actually able to keep up, and how well do you think you'll be able to keep up? Look at how quickly things have changed just in the past 10 years compared to or let's look at the last 20 years, right? We didn't have smartphones before what, 2005, 2006. Most people didn't have smartphones like 20 years ago. Look at the 20 years before that. There were changes, but they weren't as extreme as the changes we've seen in the past 20 years. They weren't as fast. They didn't come about as quickly, So, are you sure you're going to be able to keep up in the coming 20 years?
I mean, nobody knows for sure, but I do think that there's going to be a huge split, because the people who are like, I don't care about my health, I just want to live in the moment, I'm not going to research, I'm not going to do all this stuff, I'm not going to stay on top of things, their brains are going to deteriorate very quickly, quicker than normal. So now it's like a turning point in human civilization, where you're either going to go, I'm going to stay on top of shit, I'm going to see what's coming, I'm going to research and check things out myself, and I'm going to always be learning, or I'm just going to give up and I'm just going to do what's comfortable. And the people who do what's comfortable, they're going to eat the same foods. The foods are going to get more and more poisons added to them. They're going to deteriorate. They're going to fall away. They're going to be out of the game really quickly. And the other people that keep fighting, they're going to live longer, healthier lives, more than anyone has before. So it's going to be a split. Like, for example, like I'm getting into freaking like peptides, and we're seeing really cool things in that community. That's it's not mainstream. So if you don't know, you don't know.
I don't know. I'll admit.
I know you don't know, because you'll be like the more like, I've always had coffee and milk every day, I don't care where it comes from, I'll be fine. You're that road. You're that road right now. I'm gonna try to get you.
Yeah, but I'm also the guy who gives up coffee for a couple months or 3 months and then doesn't drink coffee. Yeah.
I know. Do you drink out of plastic?
Just like I'm the kind of guy who will fast occasionally, so.
Yes, I fast on Tuesdays.
Good. What was your question?
Do you drink out of plastic?
Hardly ever. Hardly ever. See, this is my mug. I drink out of.
Did you see the remember the Ziploc bags? They just came out that they cause dementia because the plastic.
Yeah.
How many decades have we been using that? But like, if you kept up to date with the new like research and you saw, oh, plastic's bad for me, you already switched to using mason jars for your leftovers and stuff like that. or like
Right.
old pasta sauce jars. You already did that. So it didn't affect you as much as the people who are like too lazy to research. I don't want to be bothered. I want what's convenient. If everybody, because there's going to be so much convenience, like part of what kills people is the convenience. So every time they make something easier for you, they're trying to kill you.
Yeah. Which
Like-
is why Europe, I think Europe is kind of lucky in that regard, because they have so many old things that, and they've just been trying to keep up for the past century or two. But like, for example, here, a lot of buildings don't have elevators, and you're like, well, you're stuck going up and down, going 6 flights up and down every time you want to. And that's a good thing. It's unless you break a leg, you sprain an ankle. But
who cares? It's worth a few broken ankles
you're forced
so that
to go
everybody has to. Yeah, definitely.
And
I mean, I remember what?
Sorry, no, I feel like the U.S. is the epitome of that, like things being too cushy, too comfy, so that you just kind of, if you're not careful, it's very easy for you to get fatter and progressively unhealthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, in one side, I understand that, like, if you broke something, or if you're paralyzed or whatever, but for where you live, it should be like, okay, there's certain places where you can live if you're paralyzed or missing something, sure. Otherwise, you don't live there. But like maybe government buildings should have access and, elevators. But I also believe that, and this is controversial, that like you should, if you're actually handicapped, you should get some sort of like government, I don't know, like maybe a card or something that you can swipe in the elevator to use the elevator. And it should not be for regular people. Because once you make it open to everyone uses it.
All right. Is there anything else you want to say about VO3?
I'm excited about it because Hollywood is taken over. Hollywood is compromised. You can't watch any of that stuff. It's trash. It's depressing. The music industry is compromised. It's trash. Everything. If you look, and they said there was a study that said, I think it's the last 20 years. Before then, most of the music was happy and about love and romance and positive about the future. Now, every song is negative about like crime, about cheating, about lying, about negative stuff, about what's it called? Just anthems. They said the number one thing is anthems. Like, who runs the world? Girls. Who runs? Like, it's just like repeating a chant over and over. They call it anthem, but I think it's like weird chants that they just make you say over and over to like infiltrate your subconscious to make you stupid or something, or easier to control. It's just like
Slogans.
Yeah. It's
politically kind of charged slogans, or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, it's all brainwashing, but it doesn't make you feel good. There's nothing good about it. It's all trash. So now that we all collectively have the power right now, if any one of us wants to get on the AI and create positive, happy, uplifting music in any style we want, or if we want to brainwash ourselves, we can literally go and tell the AI, make me a song to make me, like excited to work out, or to make me excited to eat healthy foods, or to make me like excited to hang out with my family on the weekends, or whatever it is to make our life better. And then we can listen to that stuff and we can sing along to that in the car, and we can have that playing in the background as we work, instead of this trash about like, I don't know if you've ever heard like a Biggie song, like back in the day. That stuff is traumatic. I remember like the first time I heard a Biggie song, somebody was driving. I didn't know this person. It was like a friend of my friend. So we got into the car. My friend's in the front seat. I'm in the back seat. And the guy plays Biggie, whatever music, the rap music or whatever. And it was so disgusting. I was in the back seat, like having like a heart attack, like a panic attack. Like, I'm just like, this is so like evil.
But that's in the past though. You don't have that anymore.
What do
Things
you
have
mean?
toned down. Everything's really been like significantly toned down. Like I would say that some of that stuff hasn't really aged very well. Like Eminem's early stuff hasn't aged very well. You know, because of all the woke people. Like a lot of people don't want to be anywhere near that stuff now. Am I right? You
What's
don't
a
find.
deltoid?
I don't think you these days. I don't think anyone talks about anything. That's the thing. It's not. You say it's bad. You say it's negative. I think it's vapid. I think there's nothing going on there. There's no substance. There's nothing. It's just like it's dumb. That's what it is. You know, I feel like the past. If you look at our generation or any previous generation, parents usually were scared of what their kids were listening to. You know, like people were scared of Elvis Presley, rock and roll, the Rolling Stones. They were scared of those bands, scared of what their kids were listening to. That's not really the case these days. I don't think. I think people are like kind of perplexed. I'm like, what? You like that? Why? It's kind of dumb. Like it's not even. It's not scary dumb. It's like a different kind of scary. It's like you know, are we really getting that dumb? Like
Dude, my songs are like lit.
your songs are just something else. I wouldn't,
Something awesome. Yes or yes or yes.
but I don't know how well that's going to age, Cat, because you know that generic sort of AI sound is
It's getting so much better. Look, I just got a
going to
new.
be associated with 2024, 2025, and that's it.
Listen, Hooker. So I just got the update to the AI. So it's like the VO whatever 3. It's like exponentially better than before. So I put some of my songs in the to be remastered. Anyways, so good. So good. You got to hear one. I'll let you choose. How do I get rid of this? Hold on. Stop that. Share this. All right. Pick one. These are my gothic songs.
I can't see.
Damn.
It's all tiny. Just read some of the titles to me.
Okay. We have, let's see. My favorite ones are, well, I like all of them because I'm super, let's see. Okay, how about this one?
They're not gone. They're just renamed. Golden lights and silver screens. They dress in silk. They sell you dreams. In your songs and all your feats, they hum their names between the seams. They
You know
tempt, they twist with
Uncanny
every
Valley?
trend.
I really feel like that's at that lowest point. Yes. Only it's worse. Sounds worse than heroin. Sounds worse than heroin because it's like at the very bottom of that uncanny valley for me. You know what I mean?
It's awesome. It sounds like you put like a lot of distortion and a lot of effects on it. It sounds like it took hours.
You say so.
You're such a hater. You were
Hours
such a hater.
Hours of heroin. Yeah.
Love like that is just pretend. The old gods whisper with tongues of sin. They crawl through culture to pull you in. Don't be for sale, don't wear their grin. The old are rotten, don't let them win. Eyes in nets and mirrored glass. They promised youth, they cursed your past.
Oh, wait, I have one that's on. One of these is. Can you hear me? I can't hear myself. Okay. So one of this is heroin and sex trafficking. Jesus.
What? Oh, I've had this closed the whole time. I didn't realize there were so many comments.
Yes.
I've been missing out.
Okay, so one of these, I forgot which one it is. Hold on. Let me go check. I wrote it about. Okay, this one is about the islands where they traffic kids and then they chase them in the woods for a
traffic
hunt.
what? Sorry?
This is a fictitious song about how allegedly, according to the conspiracy theorist, they traffic kids to islands and then they have the human hunt after they break one of their ankles and they release them and they chase them. I wrote a song about it. What?
Why does that make you chuckle? Like what is
Because it's like, look, who else was going to write a song about it? Tell me. If not
it's
me,
cute,
then who?
It's cute how proud you are of it. It's kind of cute. Now I have to hear it.
On an island off the main coast, where the pines claw at the sky, innocents are dragged to darkness, where the shadows never die. They look at them like prey. They've looked forward to this day. Hunted for sport. Stunted at the start of the game. Ankles broken, running lame in the pines, where fear's the only name. Mist curls through the forest, where the hunted stumble blind. Their hearts pound like war drums, no mercy left to find. These islands know no laws, these people are claws. Their laughter cuts the silence as the game begins to gnaw. They look at them like prey. They've looked forward to this day. Hunted for sport. Stunted at the start of the game. Ankles broken, running lame in the pines.
Okay, this one is about. Oh, this is about selling organs on the black market.
Yeah, it's a good thing we have people like you singing about positive stuff, Kat, to offset all the negativity and the dark. Thanks a lot.
Dude, at least it's not an anthem.
Keep it chipper.
I didn't say it was a solution. Look, I grew up with Rage Against the Machine.
Really?
not I don't know, Howdy Doody. What's like positive music? I don't even know. What was the positive music?
I'm a Barbie girl. No,
That's not positive.
that's not positive. That's kind of
That's
empty.
stupid.
No,
Positive.
that's a very good question. What has ever been positive? Like what the last
Oh,
time?
I do like. What was that
Always
movie?
positive, like
Hmm.
like early 60s, like
What was that? I See Skies of Blue, something.
Oh wait, no, there was that.
It's a Wonderful World or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Who Let the Dogs Out? That's a positive.
Louis Armstrong.
Yes, Louis Armstrong. Yeah, that was
Yeah, that was
beautiful.
1967. That was 1967, Kat. That wasn't yesterday. Yeah.
I know. All right, so we got Who Let the Dogs Out and that song.
Well, there was that happy song, but I mean that didn't make me happy. That just irritated the hell out of me every time it came on. I
Which
wanted to
song
smash.
irritated you? Which one?
What I forget his name. I'm proud of the fact I forgot his name, but it came out 2014, I think, or 13. Because I'm happy. That
Oh
tried.
yeah. Remember what he did an interview about that? He started crying, and I'm like, this is weird.
Man, I hated that song. You have no idea.
Yeah, I think he's been severely traumatized, is all I can tell. Somehow by something. I don't know. Anyways.
Maybe it was all right to begin with, but I think it's because I heard it so many times. They overplayed the hell out of that song everywhere. Like there was no way to, at least for me, where I was living at the time, I was in Shanghai, and like there was no escape from that song.
Yeah, I hated that song. It was freaking awful. I agree. Okay, if anyone wants to hear my music, I'll put a link in there. I don't know if it'll work because my songs are private. But maybe you can hear them. Who knows?
Yeah, I fast when I'm hungover too. I'm going through some of these comments. I'm trying to catch up. But yeah, the hangover fast. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, if I don't sleep well, I fast because you become insulin insensitive or whatever it is, where you get like
insulin resistant.
You become insulin resistant when you don't sleep well. So I don't eat because whatever you do eat, you're going to crave sweets and carbs and like very violently. So I just don't eat anything because, believe it or not, eating something makes the cravings more extreme. Even if you eat meat or whatever, it'll just make you crave it. Like, I think it's because like your brain is kind of like starving because you didn't sleep well, so it didn't get to clean out, and it's kind of like forcing you to go out there and give it temporary lift. But anyways, so
it's been a while since we had a guest on this show, or if we want to call it a show. What do you want to call this?
This is a show.
Let's call it a show.
It's called Kat and Nick Talk Shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, do you think we might have a guest again?
Well, I didn't think you wanted a guest, so I didn't ask anybody.
I think it might be interesting. If you want.
Well, we can let's see.
Just to get some new perspectives on some of the stuff we've been talking about.
Well, next time we come on, I can arrange for a guest to come on. Red shirt guy. Are you red shirt? I think he's pink sweater guy. He's salmon sweater guy. Salmon. That's how the Cubans say it. Salmon.
Yeah, but the L's silent, so it's salmon.
I know, but Cubans, salmon. No, that is not my husband. That is my friend. Just because they have gray hair doesn't make them the same person. You guys are so racist.
Anyway, why doesn't he come on? Like he's an expert. Like anytime we talk about medicine or something like that, he would probably know what he was talking about. It might be interesting to get his perspective.
Wow. So you're trying to say that I don't know what I'm talking about?
I'm not even trying to sugarcoat it, Kat. I mean, I'm just laying it out there. I mean, hey, and I doubt I'm alone.
Disrespect. Anyways. Yeah. Disrespectful. Anyways, okay. So yeah, AI is coming to take yo bitch, and it's happening, and it's already happened.
Who said that?
Me, right now.
AI is coming to take your bitch?
Yeah, that was actually the title of one of my streams a while ago.
Okay.
Because I saw that AI back in the day. This is like 2 years ago at this point. There was an ChatGPT that you could make a custom voice for, and you could customize it to make it like your AI boyfriend, and girls were doing that, and it was like talking so sweet and like sexy, and women are very like they like reading and they like listening. Like that's what turns them on. Like what they read and what they hear turns them on more than what they see. Because men are just like only what they see. They can be turned off by what they hear, but they're more like visual first. And
Mhm.
women are like, they'll be visual first if there's no like auditory input.
Yeah. Ask any real musician; they will tell you AI music is not. I know this is going way back, but that's
God.
totally true. I agree.
Okay, look. Just
Any real
because
musician- Sorry.
just because you're a musician doesn't mean that my AI music hasn't already surpassed all of your decades long.
Did you read that
passionate-
comment? Did you?
No,
Did
I
you
don't.
read it?
I don't remember.
Are you gonna let? Do you want me to read it or not?
Okay, where is it?
6:36. So ask any real
That's
musician.
like hours ago.
No, I'm sorry. I'm trying to catch up because I didn't realize I was on the wrong tab. I had the comments closed, and now I'm just trying to catch up.
Oh my-
So yeah,
I don't
ask
even-
a real musician; they will tell you AI music is not pro music. I like high quality, high fidelity music, not cookie cutter crap music.
I have no idea.
Yeah, music is
This one.
trash. Though, Cat, just like rap. There you go. There you have it, Cat.
I don't know what this has to do with music, but okay.
I can't help but notice a theme in Adam's comments. There's a theme. It's subtle. It's subtle, but it's beginning to take form for me. I think. Let's see. Okay, that. I could have sworn I saw "Blame It on the Black Guys" like at least 5 times, or was that just me, like reading it, scrolling wrong?
I have no idea what this.
Anyway, have we ever had Adam on here? Have we ever?
No,
No. Do you know?
No. I have never talked to him on stream.
Okay. Well, what else? What else do you have?
I don't know what you guys are talking about. It's crazy.
Doomer corn always sells. Okay. I don't
Yes.
remember what that was in relation to.
What is this?
Wait, I went way back. I went back way too far. I don't do lives. Only said it once. Okay. My bad. I think I saw it more than once because Cat like selected it or something.
Yeah.
Cat
Okay.
did. Okay, now they're talking about your butt.
What?
They're
Cat
talking
has
about
no
your butt. 6:51, right?
This is first of all, I realize that your time
Cat has
is
no
Paris
butt, okay.
time, so your time doesn't help me. It's 12.
Oh, my bad. You can't do math.
I can't
you
do math.
You just have to subtract 6.
Yeah, too much effort on my
6.
part. So
Okay.
Tucker and whistle, please. I don't know how to whistle. I've never known how to whistle. Do not give women numbers. Okay. Yes. Don't tell me about numbers. I don't understand them. They're very confusing. All right. So, what have you ever played Cyberpunk?
No, what is it?
It's like a video game. There might be a cartoon. I've never seen it, but like I played the video game before. I like the aesthetics. Kind of cool. And in this sci-fi futuristic world, there are a few people who like are the elites and they have like corporate type jobs and they dress very normally, like how like corporate people dress, clean cut, whatever. The women are very pretty in their little tailored suits and stuff like that. And then the rest of the people, the minions in the world, there's like 2 types. There's like people who do crime and like they're like sci-fi criminals, whatever, and they augment their body in like black market shops and all that stuff. And then there are like drug type criminals, and then there are like what else? What's the other ones? Oh, and then there's like a huge prostitution skank community. So it seems like in the future you're either going to be like the top elite, where you like run the corporations, which run the world, which influences society, or you're going to be another small, tiny percentage of like corporate elite, like working corporate elite. And then everybody else is just going to be like criminals trying to like scrunch by, or skanks.
Or peasants.
Well, no, those are the peasants. The peasants are you sell your body, or like you do crime to survive.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
but not thrive.
Okay. Okay.
So do you think that's a possibility?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so.
What do you mean? Why not? What do you think it's going to be? Like, tell me what you think your future is going to be. Envision the future. It's 2077.
2077?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to make it that far.
Obviously, you're not going to be here, but imagine the future.
Well, let's start with language. I think language will be totally different, you know, probably incomprehensible to us in some ways. Like,
do you know that they already have the little earbuds you can hide in your ear, and then you can go to wherever you want and it translates in real time?
right.
So we don't need to learn languages anymore. We can
Right.
just put, and they're like, you can get teeny tiny ones that can be hidden. So you can put your hair in front of it or whatever.
Yeah.
And I mean, guys don't have hair, so I guess guys could grow out their hair, at least up to there. Or you can do like some weird sci-fi, like shave one side, like the chicks are doing now, and then put the rest of your hair over here, and then it'll just cover one ear so that you can have your little translator, so you can, you know, pick up stuff.
I think humor will be totally different if we still have it. If people can still laugh. You know, like,
I think humor is going to be regulated. It's already going to be regulated now. In the UK, you're not allowed to say. They just passed a law that there's no privacy, not even in your own home. Anything you say in your own home with any device, if any device or anybody else's device is around you, it is sending everything you say, look, comment, like, dislike, screenshot, all of that gets sent to the government now. And you get put into jail now. If you say anything against whoever they don't want you saying anything against, boom, immediate jail. No freedom of speech, no freedom of free thought, no freedom to look at something, even if you agree or don't agree with it. If you look at it too long, they consider it agreement. Eventually, the AI is going to look at your facial expressions and decide if you are in agreement with it or not. So even if you don't comment, if you look at something and go, yeah, it's going to go snap and send it. And
okay,
then you're
maybe
locked away. So I don't see any room for comedy in that type of society.
No.
That's going to be immediately, all the comedians are going to be locked up.
There will be no irony, you know?
Yes.
There will be zero irony. People will
Everybody's going to be scared.
They'll look back on our times and everything prior and just be totally baffled by irony. They'll be that doesn't make sense. That's clearly false.
Everybody like will be forced to be like more literal, autistic.
Exactly, and dull, and like just really literal, you know, first degree or whatever. I think they say it that way in French anyway. So just literal. Yeah. No one will get irony anymore. Okay.
Yeah.
Physically, I think people will be more or less the same, maybe slightly taller. And
we're getting shorter. People are getting shorter.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's weird, because if you go back past,
people are getting shorter. Junk sizes are getting smaller.
Why?
There's so many factors. It's the food. It's depression. It's existential threats. It's corn addictions make it smaller. Lower T from. Do you know that like alcohol, especially the additives that they put into it, lower testosterone, and that's one of the reasons why they would market it to men. They'd be like just hanging out with the boys, drinking beer because it's highly estrogenic. So then you'd get boobs and a gut.
Arctic Timberwolf begs to differ, Kat.
Well, I mean, there's always an outlier. What are you going to do? I think it's lower than that now.
Jammer and jam the cell phones in your home. Okay. Then
there's two things coming into play. Like the people that mate a lot that are being born when they're okay. So it's not like when your mother was pregnant, people were pretty monogamous. Your junk size is going to be very moderate. But if when you're in utero and the women around your mother are very loose, junk size tends to be bigger. So that's why in certain cultures where women are freer,
I see a return to mass ignorance and people coming up with crazy theories not based on any scientific evidence, kind of like the Middle Ages, like a lot of superstition. And I see that for some reason. I just kind of see that on the horizon, Kat. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Don't know why that may be.
What?
No. It's mahogany, Kat. No man can stand up against two hands.
I don't get it, but
I'm curious. No, yeah, I'll admit I didn't get that one.
I don't know. But anyways, so
no man can stand up against two hands.
I hate when they tell me riddles like I can get riddles.
I feel like this is one that I should get, and I as soon as he explains it, I know I'll be like, yeah, of course, but I don't get it. Do you get it?
No.
Okay. My dick's way bigger than I remember. All right, so yeah, memory is beginning to fade as well.
Yeah. So it was hard back in the day with all the I don't know where I was going with that. So anyways.
Oh, you're scared. You're scared now. You see, it's working on you. The very thing that you're trying to speak out about, you're already a victim of.
Oh, he was talking to the chat.
You're censoring yourself, huh?
Nothing. Okay. Back on track. Yes. So where do you think relationships are going to go? Because I see two factions splitting off. Have you noticed that too? Where now there's like
I'm sorry, Kat.
What?
Double fisting. Okay.
Don't repeat that.
My bad. Sorry. All right. Two factions. What did you say?
Yeah, I see two factions. They're the people who have like an internal locus of control who are like, I'm going to create my own community. I don't care what the larger world or community is doing. I'll just do it myself. And I'm very confident in that. And then I see the people who are like external locus of control, which is like the world is chaos. I can't control everything. I'm weak. I'm pathetic. And I'm just going to like lay down and die. And they're the ones who seem to be the most depressed because they've like given up their control to like the government, society. Like they won't try to fight it. They just like whatever. Like the people who go, oh, I can't get married because there's so many divorces, instead of like, why don't I just do what the 40% of people who are married, or at least the 30% of people who are happily married do? They just go, well, I don't like the odds, so I'm going to assume it's impossible. Even though it's like pretty much 50-50. Odds are pretty decent. It's better than like becoming wealthy and people are still like, I'm going to work really hard.
I don't know.
Give up?
Who's wrong? Like, how do you know? Because what would you base this will to fight on? How much
Because like, okay,
how much control do you really have, and what over? What do you have control over?
you have over your personal life, your personal surroundings, what you choose to consume, what you choose to believe. You can create your own bubble very easily now more than ever. Like, I'm in a lot of health and biohacking communities, and it's just like I'm seeing people who are like, I don't trust the healthcare system, I don't trust pharmaceutical companies, I don't trust any of that. I'm going to do my own research and figure out my own health. And then they're like crowdsourcing and they're sharing information, like, check out this old research paper from like 1928 or whatever. And like, I think, and I tried this whatever herb that they were talking about, and it decreased my symptoms for this. Like, I'm seeing a lot of that. And now we have like the peptide community where people are like, I am healing, my chronic conditions that I was on 12 pharmaceuticals and feeling awful for. Or like, like the food communities, like the healthy food communities are like, I got chickens instead of, going to like those farms or whatever, farm process, whatever. What are they called? Commercial farms, whatever. Instead of using those type of foods, I have my own food in my yard, on my land, and they're like, my health issues went away.
That's the thing. What land?
That's the thing. There's still a small sect of people who are like getting up out of cities, going to buy land and like living off grid. This is a huge thing. If you look up online, the amount of people who are like doing this, it's never been higher before. It's kind of like the Wild West, like everybody started moving out west. Now like they're kind of like moving out and away from the cities, and they're just like starting shit in the middle of nowhere. Or like they're going, okay, let's create the community online, and like let's join our like funds. Everybody sells their house, and then we buy a huge acreage, and we all like put our own like homes on it, and then we're like,
and then wait for the
untouchable.
Whole Foods to open up down the road.
No,
right?
they're not counting on Whole Foods. They're like, we get a cow, we get a goat, we get a donkey, we get chickens.
Yeah, and then
they're
several
doing that. But you
line,
know
they
that
realize
people
how
can live off
unattainable,
the grid.
unrealistic that is.
You are ridiculous. You know
No,
you
I
can
just-
live off grid. You understand that it's possible. You are so convenience focused.
No,
Do you
no,
really think
I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about most people. Most people
will
it's like-
die in the cities?
like
Yes.
but it's like an animal who was raised in or grew up in a zoo being released
Yes,
into
but
the
if
wild.
you take a
People
pig
now
that
can't
was
fend for themselves.
listen, Hooker, if you take a pig that was a cute little pinky potbelly pig that was raised with people and hand fed and cuddles in a comfy couch every day watching TV with its, human masters, right? If you take that kid and you put that pig in the woods, he's going to turn feral and he's going to turn into like a warthog or whatever it's called.
I don't think so.
The same, yes. Oh my God. Can somebody in the chat please explain it to him? When an animal turns feral, they change what they are.
No.
Humans are the same thing.
No.
What do you mean, no? You guys
I think
have to look
I think
everything
your
up for you
foundation-
all.
No, I think your foundation is established when you're a child, and there are certain things about that you can't change.
Hold on.
And if you're raised feral, yeah, but if you're not raised feral, I think you'll struggle. It's like learning a language, like learning anything that you didn't learn when you were a child. You struggle. You can try, yeah, you can adapt, but you'll never be as good as someone who grew up in that environment.
Okay. All right, hookers. Yes, they do not become boars, but they become feral. And when they become feral, they grow like the tusks and hair, and they have wild characteristics. They do not have the exact same characteristics as those that were born in the wild, such as wild boars, and the phenomenon is called epigenetic. That doesn't sound like okay. Oh, okay. Okay, this if the pig is domesticated, he is kept at a farm. The owner protects him from a predator and feeds him a balanced and appropriate diet. These all secure the optimal conditions which are provided at the farm domestication settings. Keep his nature calm, and such pigs will have a low level of testosterone in their bodies. Sound familiar, guys? But when such pigs are introduced in wild conditions or
Because I'm wearing a
escape,
salmon sweater, just because.
shut up, domesticated whore. Anyways, in wild conditions or escape from the domestic settings, they have to face predators because you're all weak and soft. Anyways, they feel less secure and they have to do struggles for food and other things. These stressful conditions increase the level of testosterone in their bodies, along with their other hormonal changes, and causes long hair growth, change in behavior, and other morphological changes in them. And then they become feral hogs. The
Yeah,
term.
okay. Okay, if they don't die first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm throwing all of you domesticated soft piglets into the wild so that you can grow some hair on your chest and get some tea. Okay?
What I'm saying is
I am coming for all of you.
What I'm saying is half of your whatever you want to call it, your test, your group would die because they wouldn't be able
No,
to
they wouldn't. They would be fine. No, they wouldn't,
No.
because they have an
You're
internal locus of
overestimating.
control.
I think you're overestimating people's adaptability.
Okay, I do not underestimate your inability to adapt. I understand you will die without your cozy, fuzzy sweaters and your safe, secure.
Kat, let's assume that unlike you, right? A lot of human beings are a lot more complex and sophisticated than pigs, and that we are so far, we're so disconnected from our ancestors, right? Our prehistoric ancestors who could hunt and fend for themselves and survive, right? Much. I mean, how different is a pig in captivity from a pig in the wild? It's not like
very different.
The pig doesn't pay taxes, Kat. The pig doesn't drive a car to work and sit at a desk from 9 to 5.
You don't have to pay taxes with van life. How is the government going to find you?
Level. They're still functioning on a very basic level, like food, sex, food. They never really. They're not totally disconnected from their basic animal kind of mind. Whereas we're living in a weird, stupid kind of abstract bubble. We're totally disconnected from our animal self. So we just be lost. We just be totally confused and lost. Like, what? How do I even do this? How do I hunt? How do I start a fire? I have no idea. Wait, I saw it online once.
Are you serious? You can't start a fire?
Can you, Kat?
Yes.
Show me right now.
I'm not going to start a fire in my house. You get glasses and you just point it and
do it in Iceland or Canada in the winter.
Well, you have to wait for you have to do
the
sticks and the twigs, and that's going to take a couple hours. Yes, but you can do it. See, we used to have, this is the problem. You never went to camp. I can tell. You never were in the, what's it called? The Boys and Girls Club. What's it called? The Boy Scouts. You never did that. You were never a scout. If you were a scout, you'd be like, oh my God.
Sorry. What? Am I not allowed to say that?
You were never a scout. If you were, you would have been trained. In my church, they trained us how to do that stuff, like basic survival stuff.
Okay, Kat, is that what they called it?
There was no guys involved.
Show me on the doll. Show me on the doll how you light the fire.
So anytime an adult teaches a child how to start a fire, you're like, they got bent over. Such a sicko.
I didn't say it.
Adults do not teach children survival skills without diddling. Is that what you're trying to say?
I don't know what I'm trying to say. Maybe you're right. I don't know. Maybe we would be able to like just adapt and survive. But
Look,
I
look,
think
you
we
wouldn't, but I
sooner
feel like most of the
kill each
people who
other.
watch would be fine starting a fire. And as an experiment, I would like everybody to please go out today and the next week. You have like 10 days. Go out there and take a video trying to start a fire.
Kat, do you
then-
realize that this could be taken out of
Shut up.
context? Do you realize that? Do
No,
you
it's not out of
realize
context.
what it sounds
Safely
like?
so that no, shut up. Safely
No, it
so that
sounds like you're
doesn't
inciting
not
some
in the
kind of
woods, not in the
mass,
woods. On concrete, get your supplies so it's far away from anything that could catch fire. Make a safe, controlled fire. You guys, this is just basic survival. This is very rudimentary. Children can do this. We used to do this when we were feral kids playing in like the backyards of people. We used to make little fires. I had a few friends that were a little, and they used to like burn the ants. They eventually became locked up. But there's always been kids like that, children who could do this, and you're telling me that you're incapable. Anyways, so just take a video safely starting a fire, not in any place that could injure anyone or spread
Okay,
huge
let's assume
bands of concrete. And
Let's assume
send
you're
me
right.
the video.
Let's
I would
assume
like
you're
to see at least one video of somebody that can prove that they could start a teeny tiny controlled safe fire.
okay, Kat.
There's got to be somebody.
Let's assume you're right.
Wait,
Okay.
wait, who's surviving? And I guarantee you, whoever can start that fire has higher T levels than the rest of them. It's just facts.
Okay. Let's assume you're right.
Okay.
Wouldn't people eventually have to kind of work together just to survive? Do you really think that people now would be able to work together?
No, certain
Well,
people are very narcissistic and selfish, but in tribal societies, if somebody is narcissistic and selfish, the tribe kicks them out. That's what we've always had. Banishment is a great way to like control people. Oh, you don't want to play nice, you don't want to play fair, you don't want to work together? Banished. Enjoy. Go to the other side of the forest. Good luck. Hope the wolves don't get you.
I think you're overestimating like how many people would actually be able to make things work given like just a basic kind of situation like what you're describing. What, like land? What are you giving them? What are you giving them?
Okay, let's give them land. Sell all of your possessions, everything. Buy some land. Put a little trailer up on there. Connect it to Wi-Fi and start like a little Wi-Fi channel of Nick living out in the woods.
No grocery stores, no grocery stores, no hospitals, none of that.
In the town, so you'd have to like in the beginning, you'd probably have to drive.
Look at what happened during COVID. People went crazy looking for toilet paper. People can't even live without toilet paper. Could you expect them to live without?
I didn't go crazy looking for toilet paper. I'm like, oh, there's no toilet paper. Guess what? I have a bidet. Thank you. Oh, there's no toilet paper. You can get rags and like use them and then whatever, like wash them or something, like how they used to do in olden days, I'm supposing.
Life
or use a leaf.
Life ain't fair, like fair for a train. Don't make it unfair on you through me.
I don't get it.
Neither
Riddles.
do I. Riddles, yeah. So
I mean, this is the other option. Instead of like running away and starting our own societies, we can do this. But I don't think that's going to happen because they can just easily be replaced.
You know who I think you might get along with? Charles Manson, Kat.
You're so negative.
Yeah? You don't like me. And his stone fireplace. Yeah, it's my stone. It's just he's jealous of my stone fireplace in my piano.
Your AI stone fireplace.
It's the salmon sweater. I knew I shouldn't have worn it.
It's very douchey. It's very douchey.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
What were we talking about, Kat? This guy's been on here before, hasn't he? Chairman of the board.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there was something we were talking about something kind of. We were on something.
I have no idea how
Charles
the
Manson.
Discord
Yeah, I was
works.
saying you might get along with Charles Manson because a lot of your ideas sound kind of like
No, it
that
doesn't.
commune kind of
Stop.
stuff. You know?
Have
Your
you ever
hair's fine.
seen The Beach? The movie?
I think
The
your
Beach?
hair's fine. Yeah, I saw The Beach. Yeah, it
Yeah, well,
ended
that
very
was
badly.
fine. I mean, except for
Until it wasn't.
well,
and-
until like the drug lords got pissed at them.
okay.
But other than that, it was going great. So we just have to make sure there's no like drug
No
paraphernalia being
transition
grown.
from the current state of affairs to the utopia you're talking about. It's like this is so far fetched. It's not even worth considering.
What do you mean?
Like you'd have to go to another planet for this to actually work. But another Earth, not just another planet. It'd have to be another Earth, and you'd have to start from scratch with people who were all on the same page and all capable of working together to survive without the comforts that we're all used to, like all the things that we've grown up with, all the comfort that we've grown up with. Like basically, most of us are totally like incapable of fending for ourselves. You know, we're all pretty much most of us.
I
without-
think you're incapable of fending for yourself.
If you don't have running water, you don't have a hospital, you don't have a supermarket.
Good Lord.
How long can you go? How long do you think you'll survive?
I'll be
honestly?
fine.
You'll be fine
You're
without a hospital.
so weak.
Cat,
Yes.
I want to see.
First of all, let me explain something to you. I will be fine without a hospital.
Fire, and I want to see a video of you, or I want to see you live without a supermarket for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, just go to the farmer's market.
That
The
doesn't,
collective.
Cat. You know what I mean? No type of market. No type of market. You got to make your own food.
Dude, we can go hunting for boars in the Everglades. We're good. Alligator tastes like chicken, guys.
You mean hubby, right? You mean your hubby? He goes.
Yeah,
hunting.
I'm a girl. Thank you. Thank you for noticing. I am female. I will send him out to hunt. And he has been preparing himself since 2020.
What do you do if he gets killed by the boar?
I have all of his ammunition. I'm good.
Do you think you can kill a boar yourself? I'm
Yeah,
skeptical.
you know that you can go far away. You don't have to get up close to it and stab it. You can just shoot it from far away. That's why we got all the ammo. I feel like this is way too complicated. Also, his father taught him how to make gunpowder in the basement when he was a child.
I think we should have a vote for it. Let's see how many people think that what you're describing is possible.
We need to get real American patriots on. They are all capable.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, we can also go fishing. You didn't go fishing as a child?
Yeah. With bait that I bought, with a line that I had
You
to
can
buy.
get worms in the dirt for free.
Or-
What do you mean bait that you bought? Pathetic.
I bought all the fishing gear. I bought everything that I used.
Embarrassing. See, that is embarrassing.
Naked.
Dig a hole and there's worms in moist dirt. I live in Florida. All the dirt is filled with earthworms.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the earth provides all things.
Okay, Kat.
Can you not swim? This is a question. Do you know how to swim?
I can swim. Yeah.
But like poorly, like just
I
a
swim
doggy
pretty
paddle.
well. No, I can swim all right. I learned how to swim a few years ago. I can swim. Can you?
Yeah, I can swim. I swam in canals behind people's homes in Florida, and then an alligator passed by once.
I'm all worm and no fish.
Yeah.
Okay. Not sure what that means, but
It means you really need to work on your manliness skills and less on your comfort skills.
Okay.
The city has been cruel to you. The city life is not good for men. I feel like you got to get out of them cities. You got to get out of there. Like, do you know how to barbecue? Could you at least cook the meat? Like, if you've had a strong woman to like provide it for you, pick the meat.
If I had a hunter like you, Kat, maybe. I don't know. Someone who could catch that wild boar, with her bare hands.
You can only be in chlorine pools.
Someone who can make her own fishing rod, her own hook, her own nylon line. The whole.
It wouldn't be nylon, but it would work. Why are you like this? You didn't go as a kid and make your own fishing rod and go down to the lake or to the canal and like fish. I used to do that. Remember, like my ex-boyfriend, he had the lake in the back. I used to go there.
Yeah, no. Go out into the woods and hunt. Okay, all right.
Yeah, get out there.
So he knew you were going to say that. The city life isn't good for women either. It turns them into neurotic freaks seeking attention on YouTube.
Shut up.
Or StreamYard.
Anyways, we are on YouTube via StreamYard.
Okay, whatever.
Keep up with technology, I'm telling you.
Yeah, you're right. You're right on that.
This is true.
Because you're going to have YouTube on your you're going to make your own computers and your own servers. You're going to make your own silicon chips and all that stuff. You're going to make all of that.
I don't need a computer. I'm not. Look.
You're hitting me you're like giving me two extreme arguments.
Look,
like
I'm saying, look, you can move right now. There's plenty of people who live in the middle of nowhere very simply, and they grow their own food and they're away from the cities and they're sustainable. They get fresh eggs from their actual chickens. I used to have chickens in my yard here in the city.
Yeah, they all died, Kat. I remember.
Yeah, you know what? I killed them. My niece did because she.
Oh God, you could.
It was a terrible babysitter.
I don't think they even made it to adulthood. I don't think they made it to.
No, they were adults.
To mate, they didn't get old enough to mate. They didn't
yes,
survive.
They did. Yes,
I don't remember that. Oh yeah, then why don't you have chickens now?
Because she got rid of all of them in one fell swoop. There was one left, but I gave her away because I didn't want her to be alone.
Yeah, okay. Why didn't you try again?
Because Steven said no, because he got too depressed.
Yeah. Why don't you just go catch them? Because, you can do everything. Like, you don't need to buy anything. You don't need money, Kat. You don't need it.
Dude, I can go and get a chicken now, and I know how to... Look, this is another thing that I learned from having children.
You can go steal a chicken.
Listen, you can go into any Sedano's parking lot and find chickens. There's no shortage of free chickens, okay? Like, we're good. So what I learned from having chickens, the time before my niece killed them, she also fed them only rocks by mistake because she mistook the bags and just started. It's called grit because they need to like eat a little bit of rocks with their food so that they can break down their food properly, right? So she just gave them the rocks and not like the actual food while we were gone. Anyway, so we were gone for 2 weeks. The chickens were fine and healthy. And she's like, it's weird. They didn't eat their food, but they were super healthy. And it's because they would just dig. They'd be like bugs and they'd eat the bugs. They were iguanas. They would rip them to shreds. There was a rat that ran through, rip it to shreds. There was whatever. I saw them eat butterflies. I saw them eat all the lizards. There was a roach. They loved them. Was great. Like they didn't have any problem surviving. We didn't even need to feed them. Chickens can survive as long as they have enough room to dig. They don't need any food. Anyways, so yeah, right now I can get a chicken. It'll be super healthy, just living off the land as well. It is what it is.
How many chickens are you planning on getting? How many chickens would you have?
I had 6 before. I think 6 is a great number. I always had like excess of eggs with 6.
So I have eggs, but
it's a perfect protein.
Okay, eggs.
You can dehydrate and crush the shells in the oven,
Don't get me
and
started
that
on eggs.
becomes a calcium supplement. What?
Someone said, don't get me started on eggs. I'll shut you all down.
Okay, calm down. So yeah, so it's super easy. Look, you can live just off chickens if you were so inclined. You can eat some every now and then. You can whatever. Just if you just let them breed like crazy and leave like a few eggs in one section for them, it'll be fine.
I think it's my salmon. It's my sweater. You know, like people don't realize I'm actually poor. I'm not. You know.
Yeah. The thing about you that's very interesting is how pretentious you are for being in poverty.
I'm sorry. I don't know why I come off.
It's that it's just that I couldn't do that. I wouldn't go outside. I can't start a fire. That's
No, that's not what I'm saying. No,
what
that's
am
not.
I, a savage?
You assumed that. You jumped to all those conclusions yourself. I never said that I couldn't. I'm saying I doubt that most people could. And then even if you could get enough people to do that, they wouldn't be able to collaborate long enough for it to not descend into total fucking chaos. And you'd see people tearing each other to shreds, like tearing each other to bits. Like I don't think it would work. It would be like any kind of hippie commune, we'd all fall apart. They can't make it. It's not sustainable. Like it's just not possible to go from what we have now to that. You know, it sounds like you're kind of describing one of those crazy communist revolutions when you think about it.
No.
Eventually, you'd have to.
No communism. You don't work, you don't get free nothing.
Okay, how are you going to enforce that? How are you going to enforce that?
Banishment. I've already gone through this. Banishment, as we have always. As humankind has always. Oh, you're not a contributing member of society and you didn't earn it by working your entire youth? No, get out of here. You're not like a village elder with wisdom to share to the youngers? Get out.
Yeah, but don't you see you'd be setting yourself up to develop and you'd just be repeating history because eventually you would inevitably get the same kind of progression. You'd go back to the Middle Ages and people would just instinctively develop hierarchies and start building castles to protect themselves. And, you know, we still have the same, the only difference is that now we have technology. So people, before it could even get to that, people will be like, yeah, fuck this. This isn't working, man. I want to go to the supermarket and just buy.
Again, we're having clearly two breakaway societies at the end of this. It's going to be very, very distinct. I'm telling you.
Anyway, I really don't know why I come off pretentious.
Can somebody explain to him?
I'm acknowledging the fact that I grew up in a society where I don't hunt. And I mean, I'm just not full of myself. I'm not overestimating myself like a lot of people. Like, yeah, I could do anything. I could do anything. No, I don't. Maybe I'm saying maybe if someone shows me how to do it, maybe I wouldn't sell my house tomorrow. You know, I don't have a house, but I wouldn't just sell everything and go to the country and say, I'm going to live off the land. I would be a bit hesitant to do that.
He is.
No, because I'm not full of myself like a lot of people. You know, I'm not totally full of myself.
Tell them about your dream of marrying a wealthy old woman to take care of all your needs.
No, a wealthy young woman.
No, you told me that you'll settle for a wealthy old woman if the lifestyle was up to par.
Nah.
Really? You're about settling age.
Yeah.
You're at that time where, you know.
No.
You're pretentious enough to trick a wealthy woman.
I'm pretentious enough, you think, to trick
I think you could do it. I think if you go to enough fundraisers and art exhibits and you show and you do your, you know, like your little hand gesture, like, oh, I like this one speaks to me, whatever. You can get some old lady who's like a recent widow to be like, oh my God, he's so deep. And she'll support you.
This has turned into something entirely different. It's gotten really immature now. And like, it's just turned into like a middle school kind of cut down sort of fight. I think this is time for me to leave. It's time for me to leave.
Oh my gosh, so, are you going to rage?
No, it's just it's no longer interesting. It's not. I think in the beginning it was a lot more interesting, but we ran out of shit to actually talk, real shit to talk about. So now we're just like,
All right.
just
Well, anyways,
you know,
it's about
hack
time
me,
for us to go.
make fun of me,
I know.
make fun of
It's
people.
okay. Everybody makes fun of me and you don't care.
I don't care. I don't care that they're making fun of me. It's just, it's like, what's the point in this? It's kind of boring. That's all.
It's
I'm
fun.
over it. I'm just gonna leave now because we're not talking about anything interesting anyway. So I'm just
Okay,
gonna
well,
leave.
I actually have to go anyways. So
No, I mean it works out. Like, it's not like I'm cutting it short for no reason. It's not like, you know, it's oh, it would have gone on for, it would have been great if you had stayed. No, you got to go anyway. So fuck it. See you guys.
wow. This is how you're gonna treat the world.
I didn't realize you're so thin-skinned. You're so sensitive.
You were such a gaslighter. You're here like, I'm leaving. Why are you so sensitive?
How else should I end this? What did I say?
You just said, "Oh, I think I have to go. I think we ran out."
Yeah,
of
that's a
things to
very
talk about."
polite,
That's
very nice way of ending the conversation. What I mean, you make it sound like I was like, all right, fuck all of you, I'm leaving. I'm trying to be
literally
nice
what you
and
said.
kind of end it in not so an abrupt way, but you know, like as if people really deserve it, but they don't. Okay, I'm gonna go cry. Whatever. See you guys. I'm leaving. Oh no, I'm not supposed to leave until you've uploaded this whole thing.
Yes.
So I'll just leave it
Chillax. Bye, guys. See you.
Television screens.